Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Yolanda, and I on this channel we talk all things health and wellness for women over 40 in menopause or perimenopause and who are on their health transformation journey. I am a former professional basketball player, two-time WNBA champion turned health and wellness strategist, and I was able to lose 82 pounds between July 2024 and March of 2026 by safely and strategically leveraging GLP-1 medications as part of my transformation. And so I was diagnosed with prediabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all the comorbidities you could think of, all the stuff old people get, as I like to say. And this was right before I turned 50. So I turned 50 last year. I was almost 250 pounds. My knees hurt, my back hurt, my body was inflamed. I was just sick everywhere. And so I made a decision to do something about it. And so um, I wanted to just talk about the five, this pivot framework that came about as part of my transformation. And if you watch sports at any point, especially in basketball, pivot is a common phrase. You use a pivot to change directions, right? And so that's what I had to do. And I had to get honest with myself about where I was and how I had allowed not just food to consume me, but the stresses of life to kind of overtake me. And I've said this in several videos before. I knew all the things to do. I was doing all that I knew to do, but the weight wasn't coming off. I'm not a person who normally, going towards medications or anything like that is not my default. That's not my default move. But I, um, I was sick and I needed help, and this was the tool that I chose to use. So I wanted to share my pivot framework because everything was very strategic and intentional. And we hear the term health is wealth, right? I know you guys have heard that health is wealth. And what that means is that your health is the most important thing, like aside from your salvation, that is in your relationship with God, your health is most important because it doesn't matter how many problems you have. If you ever have a health issue, if you ever have a health problem, you only got one problem, and that's your health. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, what kind of relationship you have, what kind of business you own, what kind of house you live in. Baby, if you sick and you can't enjoy it, none of that other stuff matters. And so I wanted to just kind of walk you through this pivot framework, the process that God took me through on my health journey. Now, again, I started out with two things when I first began. I didn't want to be fat, and I didn't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. And so I thought it was all about that. But through the course of the past, I started July 24th, 2025. It is now June 2025. And over that course of 11 months, the Lord has taken me through not just an outward transformation, but an internal transformation that has changed my life tremendously. And so the first step in the framework is perspective shift. When you talk about your health, right? And I say this all the time, your purpose deserves a body that can carry it. The Lord created us. Whether you follow him or not, whether you believe in him or not, you're still his child. Unless you just out here saying, forget God and you just denounce him or whatever. But God created us in his image and his likeness. We just stop to think about that. Not he created us to be him, but he gave us his characteristics to love, characteristics to forgive, his heart, his ability to create. We carry all of those characteristics. He designed us so intricately that he says in Jeremiah that before he even formed us in our mother's wombs, he knew us and he had a plan for us. Like that's how intentional God was in creating you. He numbered the hairs on your head. And if you like me, I have really thick hair. It's a lot of strands up there. And he numbered all of them, like every single one on everybody. Like, come on. Like when you put that in perspective, That's how important you are to God. And not only that, but he made the ultimate sacrifice in sending his one and only son, Jesus, to die on the cross for us, to forgive us for our sins so that we could be reconciled back to him, so that we could live in eternity with him. So we would be able to go to the Father and ask for forgiveness and get another chance and commune with him. Like when you take it from that perspective, you understand how important what you've been called to do in the earth is. That you're not just here by happenstance, you're not just some accident, you're not just here living all willy nilly, but you have an assignment, you have purpose. And if your body cannot carry it, then why should you even still? What's the point? What's the point? So you have to have a vessel in order to carry out the assignment that God has placed within you, that he sent you here. In Ephesians 2:10, it says that God created us as his handiwork to do a work, I'm paraphrasing, to do a work that he prepared for us, right? So it's a specific assignment that the way that you look, your height, your eye color, the sound of your voice, the tone of your voice, the way you walk, the way you look, the shape of your ears, like everything was so intricately designed specifically so that you could impact purpose, right? So the first step in the framework is shifting your perspective and not making it about necessarily like a number on a scale or fitting into a size dress or what have you. And listen, health doesn't mean you skinny. That's not what that means. You can be healthy and be whatever size. It's not about a number. It's about you being in a space mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually to do the work that God has called you to do. So the first step in the framework is perspective shift. The second step in the framework is being intentional, not just out here allowing life and everything to just happen to you, but you actually getting up with intention every single day, being intentional about the people that you allow in your space, being intentional about the movies you watch, the foods that you eat, the music that you listen to, the jobs that you accept, the things that you entertain, just being intentional about your life, right? Being intentional about creating habits that are going to produce the results in your life so that you can have the abundant life that God has called us to have. So it's about being intentional, y'all, not running on old programming. We all have a default. When something happens, we default to a certain way of being. Like to me, somebody say something I don't like, my default used to be I would shut down. I would shut down and not engage in communication because I would want to, child, I want to go off. Okay, let's just be real. I want to go off. And so I understood that, okay, that was not productive. And so what I then started to do was just, okay, well, I ain't gonna say nothing. Now, because I'm not saying anything, I'm at war with myself, right? Because I feel like I'm not being heard. I feel like caged in. I feel like my opinion doesn't matter. And that's not the case. And so I learned to develop the habit of, okay, processing the information, not from a personal perspective, not internalizing when somebody doesn't agree with me. It's not them like not liking me. It's just, okay, we have a difference of opinion and it's okay. God created us to be individual thinkers, not to be like group think, just go along to get along. But so I became intentional with the habits that I was building. I became intentional about the foods that I eat. I became intentional about making sure that I get up every single day. I'm out walking right now. I do this every single day. I don't care what time of day it is. Even if it's raining, I will try to, now I ain't gonna be out here when it's thunder and it's light. But if it's just a light drizzle, I'll get an umbrella or a poncho and I come out and walk because I understand that moving my body is a requirement every single day. And when I'm out walking in nature, it's time for me to commune with God. I can hear him more clearly. So the second step in the framework is being intentional. The third step in the framework is visualizing and speaking life over yourself, over your family, over your finances, over your health. We know in the Bible it tells us that life and death is in the power of the tongue. God created the earth by saying, let there be. Right now, we have that same ability to speak life. And when I say speak life, not speak negatively about a situation, right? Not speak negatively about yourself. One of the things I used to do before, when I was trying to lose weight and I was so big and I didn't want to look in the mirror, child, I was getting dressed in the dark. I looked like a big old, I was just big everywhere, and I ain't like it. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how I feel, and I would be so hard on myself. I'd be like, oh my God, Yolanda, I can't believe you let yourself get like this. I was just so harsh with myself. And it wasn't until I started to just say, you know what? You've been through a lot. You've had 4 babies. You've had 5 knee surgeries. You've survived domestic violence. Man almost like took your life, choked the life out of you, and you're still standing. So I had to learn how to give myself grace while still holding myself accountable. Some of us want to give ourselves grace and let ourselves off the hook from doing what we're supposed to do. No, you give yourself grace by not being mean to yourself, but also holding yourself accountable. Yes, we went through that. Yes, this happened to you, but you don't have to let that become your identity or your reality for the rest of your life. And also visualizing, having a picture of what that abundant life looks like for you. Envisioning yourself healthy, whole, and healed from the inside out. You know, the Bible tells us in Habakkuk, I think that's how you pronounce it, that write the vision and make it plain. And in Proverbs, where there's no vision, the people will perish. Like, if you can't see a better way for you, you may not die a physical death. Well, ain't none of us getting out of here alive. So I ain't gonna say that, but you won't, like, you die mentally and emotionally. Like, you lose your zest and your zeal for life. You just start just existing and not living. So the third step in the framework is visualizing and speaking life over yourself, over your health, and not speaking word curses. Just when we talk negatively, that's spewing word curses. In our subconscious mind, when we say something, it doesn't know if it's true or not. It just acts as if it's true. So if you are constantly putting yourself down and saying, oh, I'm never going to be able to lose this weight, guess what? Your body starts to respond to, you never going to lose this weight. So let's go to Krispy Kreme, because, I mean, what we doing, right? So you have to be mindful of how you're speaking to yourself and how you see yourself. And the third thing is taking ownership. You got to take ownership of this life that you've been gifted with. It's a gift, you guys. So you have to take ownership. Ain't nobody coming to save you. Ain't nobody going to do your push-ups for you. I don't care if you're doing it, losing weight the natural way or without support, or if you had to get surgery, or if you leverage, like I did, GLP-1 medications. There's still work that you have to do. You still have to change your eating habits. You still have to recognize your emotional triggers. You still have to create an environment, a physical environment, meaning getting rid of all the snacks and all the bad stuff in your refrigerator and in your pantry. And then you've got to create an internal environment for success. Like, that's taking ownership, getting your butt up and going and working out. I don't care if you can't do nothing for but 10 minutes a day. Start somewhere. Start right where you are. It doesn't have to be like you ain't got to go in there and now you trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ain't nobody trying to look like that anyway. We just want to be, fit and fine. We not trying to be Miss Olympia unless that's what you want to do. Then, hey, have more power to you. Do that. But what I'm saying is, little steps matter. Baby steps matter. Don't despise small beginnings. Small steps turn into big progress over time. So you're not on somebody else's level. It's not about being able to do what somebody else does. It's about being able to do what you can do from where you are that's going to move you forward. Period. So take ownership of your health. And then the last part, which really should be the first part, is trusting God in the process. We always hear this term, trust the process. Baby, the process can change at any given moment. The strategy can change at any given moment because life is not linear. Success is not linear. You can go from A to L to B to Z to K to M to A. Like, you just don't know what life is going to throw at you. But if you trust God, who is unchangeable, who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I remember hearing that growing up, and I never knew what it meant until I got older. Okay? Like, God is unchanging. What he said about you still stands. His love for you still stands. His desire to bless you still stands. Who he said you are, that's not changing. You can choose not to accept it. You can choose to not walk in it. But baby, what God said about you, he meant that. You're the apple of his eye. He'll never leave you or forsake you. He has good plans. He says, beloved, I wish that you would prosper in your health, even as your soul prospers. And what that means is you will never rise above the level of your soul, like your self image, like how you see yourself. You'll never be able to rise above that level. So if your soul is sick, your mind, your will, and your emotions, if they're sick, you're going to be sick. So God wants us healthy. God has big plans for us, y'all. And I don't care what nobody says. I don't care. You can justify all you want to. You can only go so far. If you're not in good health, and again, good health doesn't mean skinny. It don't mean petite. It's not a size, but I'm talking about healthy where you don't have inflammation all throughout your body. You're not taking high blood pressure medications and all these different medicines every single day just to function, because you take medicine for your blood pressure and mess up your kidneys. Now you got to take medicine for your kidneys and that's messing up your liver. Now you got to take medicine for, like, come on. When all you got to do is change your eating habits, change the foods that you eat, change your mindset. You're worth it. You're worth it. You're not going to be able to get to that next level. I'm sorry. I don't care what you tell yourself. And if you do, you won't last. You won't enjoy it because your body can't handle it. Right? So I hope that helps. And I hope more than anything that it encourages you, that it wakes you up. You guys, time is ticking. We don't have as much time as we think we do. And you have to be about your Father's business. It is time, okay? You've been down long enough. You've been sick long enough. You've been settling long enough. It's time. Y'all, since I have lost, like, and again, it's not even about the weight. It's not about the weight. But y'all, I have so much more energy. I have so much more life. I have so much more. I'm so much more excited about life and all the things that God is doing. And y'all, I went through eviction in this process. I lost my job. I was laid off twice. Like, me and my kids were in a hotel for 2 weeks, and I had to move in with friends. But I'm still showing up every single day, and the Lord is blessing me tremendously. And He shifted. I'm happy. I have joy. And when you get to that place on the inside, all the other things, all the tangible things, all the houses and the jobs and the relationships and all those things, they'll come and you'll be able to handle it. Because if you're honest with yourself, if God gave you everything you wanted right now, would you be able to handle it? Would you be able to handle it? And if you say yes, for how long would you be able to sustain it in the state that you're in the emotional state that you're in the spiritual state that you're in the physical state that you're in, right? We don't want blessings to become burdens. And God is a good Father. He won't withhold any good thing from us. But He also understands that when we're not ready. And the longer you prolong doing what you need to do to get yourself in position, the longer you're going to have to wait for the things that God has for you. I'm a living witness. So I hope that helps. I hope you guys are blessed. Let me know in the comments if what part of this video resonated with you. I just felt led to share. And so I'm in this space of radical obedience. So when God tells me to do something, I'm going to do it, period. And I hope that you all do the same. All right.